With it being 7:31 now, I would like to officially call the April the 28th City Council meeting to order. If we could please join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. There's a little bit of a time delay there, I think. I'd like to welcome everybody. I don't know how many citizens we actually have tonight. I can't see that listing, so I don't know whether we've just missed it or whether nobody's there except us. The first item is the consent agenda, which is a group of items to be acted upon with a single motion or vote. It's designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by council. I will ask if a citizen or a council member wishes to have any specific item removed from the consent agenda for discussion, and at that time, the public or a council member may request that an item be removed prior to council's vote. The items on tonight's consent agenda include approval of the work session and regular meeting minutes for April the 14th, 2020, approval of expenditure vouchers of April the 28th, 2020, approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license for Thai Cortez, approval of a renewal retail marijuana store and cultivation facility license for Mountain Annie's, which is doing business as the Medicine Man, and approval of a renewal medical marijuana center on-site optional premises cultivation facility for Mountain Annie's, which is doing business as the Medicine Man. Is there anybody in the audience or on council that would like to see any of those items removed for further discussion? All right, at this time, if I could have a motion, please.
Honorable Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second the motion.
Beth? Sue, you'll have to unmute.
Bill, can you unmute her?
Yeah. Okay.
Beth? Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Aye.
Noise?
Aye.
Lucero?
Aye.
Levy?
Aye.
Keel?
Aye.
Cheek?
Aye. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business. This is resolution number 4, series 2020, that has to do with the city providing approval for citizens to begin to raise funds for a band shell to be located in Centennial Park. This is just giving them the opportunity to be able to raise those funds. So Mike, if you would like to chime in on that.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. This is a very simple resolution. In some ways, it doesn't commit you to much of anything except to start the process that might have to be undertaken to plan and locate the band shell where it's going to be. It anticipates a turnkey operation that this funding group will raise the money, build it according to city specs, and put it where we want it, and go from there. We're not in any position right now to say, oh yeah, we'll put it in this exact spot and do this, this, and this. So this allows them to go out and raise money, and we'll go from there.
All right, Council, are there any questions or comments?
I have a question. This is Orly. On that money that they're raising, is the city going to be the one taking care of it, or they got their own group?
We've asked them to go ahead and start a 401 or a 501c3 or something to that effect, because if that money comes into the city, it affects our Tabor, and we have to take that money as if it's revenue to the city, and it's not. So we've asked them to start their own organization, raise the money like the Friends of Rec and the Friends of the Library do, and hold that money on their own, and then build this thing, because they can never give the money to the city, or otherwise the state says it came to the city, so we got to take that off the table, and we can't afford that.
Okay, that was my concern, because I didn't want us to be the
No.
person handling the funds, because they'll haunt us later.
Yes. Mayor?
This is
we have
Ty
a
here.
attendee with a raised hand.
I'm sorry.
This
I
is
can't.
Ty.
I'm not able to see that. Ty?
Yeah, I just had a question. Once this is built, if they raise the funds and it's built, the onus falls back on the city from an insurance standpoint
Yes, and to
To-
maintain it also.
and a litigious standpoint.
Everything would be, the city would be the owner. We would be responsible for everything from the date of accepting it.
Does this do anything to our overall insurance, as a whole?
When this has come up before and we've looked at it in the past, it doesn't seem to. Having something new raise the rates. Other things cause that. This will just be another structure that the city owns, was gifted. One of the things I have in mind as this goes further along, the city's going to say what kind of materials, what kind of minimizing maintenance factors need to be considered in the design.
Is there anything else we could incorporate into the 501c3 that has a financial obligation for upkeep?
We could try, but at this stage of the ballgame, I'm not sure what they have. It sounds like it's just a couple individuals right now, and we can negotiate further. Yes, sir. This is not a contract. This is just saying you will look at it. If you'll recall, the gentleman talked about getting Coors Beer or somebody to come and build it, and we would call it the Coors Band Shell. At that point in time, when we get more serious about the money, yes, maybe we could negotiate something in there. If that's where council directs us to go at that time, I think that's not a bad idea.
Well, I hope they bring free samples.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point, all we are doing is just saying we are agreeable to having them raise funds for this facility, and the details will be determined if and when they have the funding to be able to do this. So
Right. Yeah. I totally agree, and I'm excited about it. I just thought we should get the conversation at least in motion about future costs we might incur or might be able to alleviate with this band shell.
absolutely, I think that's a good point, Ty. It's always a good idea to think ahead, because there will be some costs. Once the facility belongs to us, why there will be some expenses. I would hope, however, that the benefit to the community and the fact that the city would be gaining a facility, a rather costly facility that they didn't have to pay for, that there would be willingness to assume those overall maintenance costs over time. Does anybody else have a comment?
There's been, this is Mike Clavey, there's been interest in other band groups in Farmington. I've been talking to Bob Wagner about this project, and I think if this got built, it would attract other groups from this area and possibly throughout the state to patronize this band shell if it does get built.
And Mike's right, there has been a lot of interest. There have been a number of letters that have been written, as Mike says, from Farmington, from Durango, of groups that would be interested in coming and performing in it. They may be willing to help with some fundraising or willing to pay for the privilege of being able to use it. So I think it has great potential for this community. We have a large number of musicians and performers that I think would find having a band shell a wonderful amenity. So, plus possible tourism benefits as well. Are there, Sue, did you have a question or a comment?
No.
Okay. Well, if there are no other questions or comments, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to consider a fundraising for the band shell to be located in Centennial Park.
Are you
Second.
good with, Sue, are you good with resolution number 4 as it's
Yeah.
written?
Yes. Council will consider, a resolution number 4, series 2020, approving a fundraising for the band shell to be located in the Centennial Park. Is that
Second.
better?
Thank you. Noyes,
Aye.
Keel,
Aye.
Levy,
Aye.
Betts,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye. Well, Bob Wagner will be thrilled. I'm sure he'll be starting tomorrow. All right, the next item is the settlement approval with Western Gravel, which we have talked about in previous meetings. So, Mike, if you'll refresh our memory, please.
What this is we ran into some difficulties in the final payoff to the contractor who did the medians and the alley rehabilitation. We owed them $56,000 plus some change. On the, I'm sorry, $53,000 plus some change as the final payment on the contract. They filed suit against us and started out at, if I remember correctly, several $100,000. It stemmed out of them having to remobilize and come back down to Cortez from, I think, Montrose, where they're out of, and some other items. Staff went and met and looked at this. We estimated the costs of litigating at approximately $46,000. This would include staff time, attorney time, engineer time from the company that supervised the project. They sent me a letter the last time. They wanted $75,000 in toto, including the 53. So the city would be settling this lawsuit for $21,497.83, which is an economic positive towards the decision. Staff recommends approval of this and authorizing the mayor to sign the settlement agreement and the check. I spoke with the attorney for WGC. There are some documents they need to sign as well, and they will get them to us to close out the project with CDOT. And that would conclude this matter. And then I think that would take all but one case. I'm not real. I think this takes all the litigation off the table that the city had ongoing.
Well, with the exception of New View.
That's concluded. The litigation part of that's concluded. We're moving forward to a new hearing. So that's been decided and there's been a judgment, well, not a judgment, but a decision entered. So literally this takes everything off the table as far as litigation.
Mike, this is Ty here. Could you expand a little bit on what's going on with New View?
We're going to schedule them for a licensing hearing in the end of June.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions about the Western Gravel settlement? Rachel, is that? Oh, okay. I couldn't tell whether you were, I thought you had your hand up. Okay. All right. If there aren't any other questions or comments about the settlement with Western Gravel, may I please have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we consider approving the settlement with Western Gravel Constructors LLC, authorizing the mayor to sign the settlement agreement and pay WGC $75,000, which is $53,502.17 retainage, and $21,497.83 settlement of pending litigation.
Second.
Lady,
Aye.
Sheik, I'm sorry, Karen, Sheik,
Oh, aye.
Noise,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Keel,
Aye.
Betts.
Aye.
Sorry for the different direction.
That's okay. We were just surprised it was.
For the first time, we thought we'd let you vote second.
Yeah, well. Well, at this point in the agenda, it's the time for Ty and Gary and I to extend our thanks for the opportunity to have been able to serve on council and serve the citizens of Cortez, and to say goodbye. Speaking for myself, I must say this has been a wonderful experience, and I will be forever grateful for having had the opportunity to be able to serve on council and to be able to serve as mayor for this community for the last several years. So it is with mixed feelings. It's bittersweet. I am looking forward to seeing what the new council does. I know that you guys have some really big issues that you're going to be dealing with, but I feel quite confident that you will do a great job and make wonderful decisions and continue to move the city forward in a positive way. So, Ty or Gary?
This is not how I expected my 8 years or my tenure to end on city council. And it is, as Karen said, it's bittersweet. I didn't want it to end this way because there's a lot of hugs I'd like to give and handshakes I'd like to make. And I feel gypped a little bit for not being able to look people in the eye and tell them how much I appreciate them. And that means more to me than anything. To the staff of the city, what an honor it's been to be with you guys. And to all the people I've served with on city council, thank you. I've learned a lot. To those of you who are about to serve, I appreciate it. You have grit, and I appreciate grit more than anything. It would have been easy, given the circumstances, to say, no thanks. This crazy world we're living in now would have been enough to make people shy away, but I thank you guys a lot for serving. It means a lot. It's a thankless job sometimes, but I think this new council will do wonders for the city. So to everyone, I thank you very much. Gosh, I don't know where 8 years went, but it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Gary?
Well, this is kind of how I planned on my term ending, with a cold shot of whiskey waiting for me when I'm done with it. But 2 years ago, sitting in the seat that the new members are sitting in, I learned, I didn't know what to expect, and I learned a ton working with a lot of great people. It's eye opener. It definitely is. When you think of the outside looking in, once you get on the inside, it's totally different. But I am thankful with the people that helped me out, that showed me some things, and taught me and had patience with me. And I know that the council members, we'll do the same with the new members. And to everybody that's been there, thank you for everything. I'm sure I'll be there in some meetings, a few more now than I was before I was a member. But I wish the best for everybody, and good luck.
All right, and with that, hopefully we will see all of you on May the 12th. If we don't have something else monumental that happens. And at this point, Linda, I will turn it over to you to swear in the new council members.
Linda, before you do, I just have one thing. I got to change glasses. I have been requested by the town of Mancos to read this tonight. The town of Mancos would like to thank Karen for all of her hard work on behalf of the city of Cortez during her term, especially her efforts on broadband and technology. We really appreciate her tireless efforts to work with and include Mancos on projects that would benefit all of us. It was with sincere pleasure to work as a team with the council and staff. We look forward to continuing this partnership with the newly elected council and mayor. If there is any way Mancos may be of assistance during the transition, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you, the mayor and city manager in Mancos. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
I would just like to add, I appreciate working with you guys these year and a half. I also wish it had gone better. But I'll point out to the new council, they made a good choice in selecting the manager, so it'll get straightened out eventually. But you guys will be missed. But I'm looking forward to the new council and some new ideas and some new enthusiasm. But thank you guys for your service, and we appreciate you. And as I always make the pitch, we have committees that need people to sit on them, so please don't shy away. But thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate it.
I'd like to add some thanks to, thank you so much, Mayor Sheik, for all your hard work and dedication, being a mayor and on the council. And you're truly an inspiration to all of us. And you will be missed very much. And I'd like to also thank Ty again for his tenure as mayor pro tem and on the council for many years. And thank Gary Noyes for his service on the council. And I want to thank Sue Betts again for being on the council, and really appreciate all you people. And I'd like to say thanks to Jill Carlson. She had to resign because she had other duties pending, and we just wanted to thank her for her service on the council.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, since we're getting all mushy, I'd like to thank everybody that we worked with in the last couple of years, and I'm really going to miss you guys. Ty, you've been just a sweetheart to work with. And Gary, God love you. I don't know what I'd done with you without you one night. So thank you guys a bunch, and enjoy your ride off into the sunset.
David, I think you've been trying to
Yes.
say something.
I just want to second almost everything that's been said. I think you folks that are leaving us have been a real inspiration, and I honestly hope that we can do as good a job as you all have done. And the meetings that I have witnessed, I again have felt inspired by the way you've handled different situations, and you will be sorely missed. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Rainey.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
All right.
Karen, I was just going to just read a couple things so that people would know how long you guys have all served, you and Ty especially. Gary was, served from April 24th to 2018. That's when he first started to today. He served on the Mesa Verde Country Board. Ty was elected on April 24th, 2012. He served through today. He served as Mayor Pro Tem 2014 to 2018, and he served, I know he loved his time on the Historical Preservation Board, the Golf Advisory Board, and Karen, she took her oath of office on October 25th, 2011. She took Robert Remy's seat when he had moved out of town. She was appointed by City Council then and was elected in the next election in 2012 and serves through today. I know Karen has served on many boards, looking through all the minutes. The Heart and Soul is where it first started for Karen. I think that was your love. Mesa Verde Country Library Board. But I just wanted to remind you guys the things we've done. The Land Use Code, of course, has been going on since 2011. We adopted retail marijuana in 2014. We moved to our new city hall in 2017, started pickleball courts, and you ended with the electrical vehicle in 2019. So I just want to say it's been a pleasure for me. Thank you.
And I think I can speak for all of us when I say it's been a pleasure for us to get to work with you as well, Linda. I have felt and often said that you are one of the best representatives for excellent customer service. If there was a picture next to the definition of that term in the dictionary, it would be a picture of you. You wonderfully well with staff and with the community as well. So the city's quite fortunate to have you.
I'll miss you guys.
Yeah.
I'll miss you.
I'm sorry we have to do it like this, Linda, because I'd like to be able to give you the biggest hug of all. You've meant so much to me and have helped me immensely. And words can't describe how much I appreciate what you've done for us.
We'll have that hug soon.
All right. Hey,
I
one
know.
other question. Are we allowed to stay on as former council members in this format? Or do we need to go back through the city of Cortez to view the rest of the meeting?
I think they can stay on, can't they, Bill? Correct? I'm pretty sure you can stay on.
I make a motion that they stay
Yeah,
on.
if they want,
Yeah.
to, if you guys want them to.
Yeah, I'm sure you can stay on.
I'll mute myself.
Okay. So we'll move to the oath of office for our newly elected council members, Rachel Medina, Arlena Yazzie, David Rainey, Amy Huckins, and Sue Betts. In the packet, I know that you have your oath of office. I'm going to ask for each of you, I know some of you we can't see, some of you we can, to raise your right hand. And we're going to do that together. So if you guys could find your oath of office, we would like for you to raise your right hand if that's possible in front of the camera.
Mine's in another room.
Your oath?
Yeah, the packet.
Oh, okay. So can you just sort of go along with Sue with the other four, and we'll get you to sign that oath
Sure.
this week. Okay. So I'm just going to start with I, and I'm going to let you each say your name and then to go further. I.
I,
Rainey.
Arlena Yazzie.
Rachel Medina.
Sue Betts.
Thank you. And we'll continue on. And you can say it together.
I
Do
Do solemnly swear by the ever-living God
God,
that I
I
will
will support the
Constitution
Constitution of the United States and of the state of Colorado,
Colorado,
and the city
the charter and ordinances of the city of Cortez,
is
and ordinance.
faithfully perform the duties of city council member.
That was a first to ever do it that way. Thank you. We'll get each of you to sign that form and we'll get them on file. That was beautiful, actually.
You say it's in the packet?
Yes, ma'am, but I have one for you at the office, Sue, and we'll get you to sign it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So next we'll move to the election of mayor. And we did have that information in the packet for each of you. I will take nominations for mayor. We will also ask for a second. So yes, if anybody would like to make a motion for mayor.
Linda, I'd like to make a motion to nominate Mike Levy for mayor.
I'll second that.
Do I have any other nominations for mayor? All right, so we will take roll call for that, please. Huckins? Are you on, Amy?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Oh, okay. I just got told my son wasn't on.
Okay, so we're taking vote for Mike Levy as mayor.
Aye.
Beth?
Aye.
Lucero?
Aye.
Rainey?
Aye.
Medina?
Aye.
Yazzie?
Aye.
Levy?
Aye.
Okay, so our next nomination will be for Mayor Pro Tem. Do we have any nominations for Mayor Pro Tem?
I'd like to nominate Rachel Medina for Pro Tem Mayor.
I second that.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, we'll take a vote for it. Lucero?
Aye.
Huckins?
Aye.
Medina?
Aye.
Betts?
Aye.
Rainey?
Aye.
Yazzie?
Aye.
Levy?
Aye.
Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. Welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We're ready to move. So I assume Mike will move to new business and we'll let you lead, Mike Levy.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is citizen participation. Comments may be limited to 4 minutes per person. Please comment on items not listed as public hearing. Council may or may not respond to comments.
I saw Rocky had her hand raised in the participant list, but not anymore.
So I do assume they need to press the button at the bottom if they want to raise their hand. I do see there is one up.
Yeah, they need to click the raise hand at the bottom, and I'm guessing Mike, at the bottom of your list, you should be able to see a attendee button. Click that. There should be a tab that shows you the panelists and attendees, and that way you can see who's got their hands raised. Right now, we only have
Okay.
attendee.
Jean Flesh.
Gene, you can talk now.
My address is 2555 Road Endpoint 6 Loop in Cortez. I'm not sure if this is the proper time. I had submitted an email about the new business about reopening. Is this the proper time to do that? Well, what I'm wondering is, I know that, hello? Montezuma County has, hello?
Go ahead.
Am I on? So Montezuma County has decided to follow the governor's safer at home order. And I was looking on there today about, I know you're going to discuss a golf course later on. He's also stated that tennis courts would be involved in that. And I'm looking outdoor recreation. I see that they're looking at opening up the indoor facilities pickleball and tennis courts on June 1st. I would like to propose the outdoor facilities should perhaps open before the indoor facilities. The tennis courts and pickleball courts following something more like the golf course, or if not comfortable with that, maybe being phased in a couple of weeks rather than waiting till June 1st. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments? If not, we'll continue on with the agenda. Public hearings, there are none. Under new business, the first item on the agenda is the opening date for various city facilities. And we'll turn this over to City Manager John Doherty.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm proposing, well, let me back up. Yesterday, the managers in Montezuma County reviewed the plans for reopening businesses and the public buildings and things. We finalized that. We sent a copy to Bobby Locke and Dr. Aiken for review. They reviewed it. They've made a few changes. I got emails while we were on here. Tomorrow morning, the Public Health Board is meeting to review this with Dr. Aiken and Bobby and the Health Department. And it's assumed that they will sign off on it. And then it will go to the governor because we are asking for a few changes in his directives, which were no more than 10 people in a building, retaining the 6-foot distances, 50% of the workforce in the building. And what I was asking for, and everybody agreed to, with the building our size, City Hall, everybody has private offices. And so there should be some leeway there. And the plans are in the works that if you come out of your office, you will have to have a face mask on of some kind, whether it's a bandana or just the regular face mask. I have ordered signs for the front doors that to get admission to City Hall or the service center or the library when it does open up, a mask will be required until the health department feels it's no longer a good idea to have them. So what I'm proposing is on May 1st that the golf open up. That would be the golf course and the disc golf that's in the parks. Then on Monday, I'm proposing to open up the service center, City Hall, and the library. The City Hall and the service center will be fully operational. The doors will be open. You can come in, pay bills or whatever. For the library, it's going to be, at least for the time being, it's going to be strictly curbside service. Any patron can call in, put their order in, and then when they get to the parking lot, staff will bring their books out to them. If they're dropping books off, we will take them, and we are going to quarantine them in the conference room for at least a week, because depending on what you read, it can live on paper for a day, 24 hours, plastic for 3 days. We just felt that, Alyssa and I felt that if we set it in the room by itself for a week, that'll be as much decontamination as we can do, and then it will go back on the shelf. The staff, all the staff will be briefed if you guys approve these openings, and then we will go forward. Now, the ladies' comments about opening up the pickleball and the tennis courts, Dean and I have talked about that. And with golf, everybody uses the same, or they have their own ball. They don't touch everybody else's ball. We're going to have things in the cup so it doesn't drop down in the cup. You don't have to reach in there, pick it up. It'll be right on the top. With tennis and with pickleball, whoever is serving can touch the ball. So it doesn't, you may have 2 to 4 people touching the ball. which is going to contaminate everybody as they touch it. You can't decontaminate the ball every time you pick it up. So the decision has been made to, and it may be June 1st, it may be earlier. We're working with the health department as we go with this stuff. But I said, just put it out there for right now, June 1st. We're hoping it will be in a week or two. But right now, I can tell you the health department is not real comfortable with any of this. They really prefer the stay at home because it's not spreading the virus. However, we need to get back to a little bit of a normal life. So the procedures at the golf course will be that each individual golfer, unless they come in the same car and live in the house together, each individual will have to have their own golf cart. They will be reminded that they can't congregate once they get on the greens or on the tees, and they have to leave the facilities as soon as they're done. They cannot stick around and hang around there. And I think that's about it. They will be, I believe it was like 8 minutes between tees before. Now it's going to be more 15 minutes to give them plenty of time to get on the tee or onto the green and then off to the next one before the next group starts. So we will have agreed to keep them separated that way. And then when the carts come back, the staff there at the clubhouse will go ahead and disinfect everything before it will go out again. So that's our plans. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Going back to the library, will the books and materials that are returned and put in quarantine, so to speak, for a week, will those materials be treated at all, or just the time issue?
Just the time.
Just
We
time,
looked
okay.
at how we could possibly disinfect books, and we just the plastic disc and things. Yeah, we can do those, but a book, there's no way to do it. So we just felt that if we set it aside, the virus will die according to everything we've read within a day. So we figured several days in there is going to be good.
Thank you.
Sure.
Will there be people to monitor, say for instance, on the golf course? Who's going to monitor these people who are playing once they get off the first tee? I've played a lot of golf, and I know that it's really hard. It's not as difficult as pickleball, but it is difficult not to practice social distancing. The flagpole could be touched by different players. There are a number of things that, like people riding in the golf cart. I like the idea that everyone should have their own golf cart, but it's bottom line, it's still risk. I'm ambivalent about, just making a decision on it.
Yes, sir. It's always a risk. To your point on the stick, the flags, they will not be removed. That's I'm not sure how they're doing it, but they've put it in there so that you don't even need to remove the flag. You just reach in there, grab your ball off the top, and go to the next tee or the next tee. So we're limiting any touching of the equipment. They're going to be told the flags stay put. You can't take them out. This is the best we can do for right now. And I think as much input as we've gotten from golfers, they'll be very paying attention and making sure everybody else does, because I've already warned them, if you're not going to follow the rules, we're not going to be able to stay open.
Right.
And Mike is well aware of that, and he'll stress it to them that, it's on an honor system, but we will have rangers running around there that we don't normally have either.
Good.
Back to you, Mayor.
Okay. Are there any other discussions? Anyone? Do I hear a motion?
I just have a question about what you're doing to protect the front desk person at City Hall then, if that's opening up.
We have already had installed, I had maintenance build a sneeze shield, and it's already on the counter. We have put down tape on the floor that separates people by 6 feet. If there's more than, I think, 3 people in the lobby, they can either be asked, the next person in the door can be either asked to step into the conference room or to wait outside. Or stretch it. You can see how far 6 feet is. Just make sure it's better than 6 feet that you're staying away from the person in front of you. I've been up there several times. I think probably 3 people at a time, it's getting crowded. So I have never seen more than 3 people up there at a time. So if they do, and MJ will be instructed that they need to stay 6 feet apart, and we will have on the doors that masks are required. I'm not going to be calling the police department to come in and hassle anybody if they come in and they don't have masks. If we can't get cooperation from people, we'll end up just locking the doors, and then when they come up, we'll let them in if they have a mask, and if they don't, we'll ask them to go get one. Or, you know, we may be able to provide some, I don't know, because I know they're very short and very hard to get right now, but, and we have hand sanitizer all over the place and are getting more of it in.
Okay, and you have soap in all of the bathrooms?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
John, can you speak to a little bit more to the measures that we're taking for the recreation center?
The cardiac equipment has been moved from the upstairs to the gym and very widely spread apart. Dean and I were talking, we just figured it'd be very difficult for people to do their workout with masks on. So we do need to separate them as much as possible. The gym isn't going to be used for quite some time because there are no crowds. The silver sneakers can't be put on. The outdoor courts, or even the basketball rims, are covered up because the health department notified me that there were people playing and bumping in things. There was no distancing there. So we covered up the rims at the outdoor, and then the indoor, we're just going to have a very limited number of people. And going back to the thing that I asked to be changed on the orders, the rec center is a huge building, and there needs to be more than 10 people in there. Otherwise, if we count staff, nobody will be able to ever get in. So I'm asking for 40% of occupancy. And we will keep people 6 feet apart as best we can. The lazy river will not be operational. Right now, the outdoor pool is not filled or going to be operational until we get an idea of if we're going to even open them. The lap pool will be open, but they will be spaced so that very few people can be in there doing their laps at one time.
Thank you.
Well, then in regards to the rec center, what about the kids programs over the summer?
I was just talking with Rosa today. The state is still coming out with something that potentially we can have that. But again, it's kind of hard to tell how they're going to do that when they're going to limit to 10 people. And if we got a whole crowd of kids, they're going to be in the rec center at some point. But the president has said, open up the schools, and our schools are closed. That's something we're still working on. But I've left it up to Rosa and Dean to figure out what the state's mandates are from the public health, run it by our public health, and then if they're okay with it, yeah, I think we really need that program up and running. But right now, we can't do it without the approval of the state.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion on opening the various city facilities? Council. Do I hear a motion?
Are we motioning for the dates then, or?
You can accept them all as written by the city manager, or you can choose however, Rachel.
Okay. Because I'd like to see the pickleball courts and the tennis courts open before the recreation center, because I think those are lower risk. So can I add that in, or are we just not going to address that yet?
I don't believe we're ready to address that yet.
Okay.
I can tell you the health department was not happy that the golf course was going to be opened. But as I explained to them, golfers are going all over the state to go golfing elsewhere. And so if they're doing that with stay at home, it's only going to get worse as we delay opening our facility. And we want people to stay local so they don't bring something back in the community. Durango's been open for quite a while, and several other around the state have been, but it's been very hit or miss. All other facilities are still closed for the most part.
Would the pickleball court situation be something we could address after you've spoken with the public health department again, and when would be the next time you speak with them?
I'm with them on a conference call twice a week.
Okay.
And we will certainly continue to discuss it with them.
Pickleball and tennis.
But I will add that I think there's going to be an issue with that, because I just saw the governor's directive. When more than one person is traveling in a car, the passenger is supposed to have a mask on and be as far distant from the driver as possible. I would interpret that as in the back seat.
Is that assuming that they don't share a household?
It didn't say. It just said if you are traveling, if you're going to open up city halls and have people getting in cars together, that they have to be masked the whole time they're in there, and there has to be as much distance between the driver and the passengers as possible. I suppose we can put them in a van and put the driver in the driver's seat and the others in the back seat, but generally we don't do a lot of carpooling except when the mayor and I go to Durango, which right now it's going to be video conferencing, so we don't have to worry about it.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to consider opening the Conquistador Golf Course on Friday, May 1st, 2020, City Hall, City Service Center, and Library Limited on Monday, May 4th, 2020, and projected date for Recreation Center and the parks on June 1st, 2020.
I second that.
Thank you. Lucero?
Aye.
Hudson? Amy?
Aye.
Medina? Beth?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Okay, Beth?
Aye.
Rainey?
Aye.
Yazzie?
Aye.
Levy?
Aye. The second item on the new business agenda is contributing to the Community Emergency Relief Fund, or CERF, SERF.
Sorry about that. I got somebody else to read it. Yes, we have received a request from the Community Emergency Relief Fund to provide funding which would be matched and made available to the local not-for-profits SURF was established in 2008 as a broad-based community emergencies in Southwest Colorado. It is administered by the Community Foundation and it was recently reactivated in response to the COVID-19 protective measures. Phase one of the funding included $50,000 of grants from SURF and was matched by the same $50,000 from local philanthropists through the Community Foundation to distribute food to the frontline organizations who are distributing it. Now they are trying to get into phase two and raise another $50,000 and are requesting some assistance from the counties and the municipalities to try and help out. What they would like to do is to get a truck and purchase food by the pallets and then distribute them at a discount to the local food pantries, as there is a desperate need right now in all of our communities for support for those people who have been laid off, furloughed, and such things. The request for the city of Cortez is $10,000. This money was it was available because I forgot in my budget reductions for the council in the last meeting, this was supposed to be in there. The $10,000 is in money that was budgeted for the Arts Committee. They haven't spent any of it. I guess my feeling is right now, people going hungry is more important than whatever purpose the committee could find for that money. If you want it to go to $15,000, which I'm not recommending, but I will get into later, the money has become available, and the department said, I have no plans for it, so there is another $5,000 that can either go towards this or reduction of the deficit that we are projecting. Either way you guys want to do it, but is there any questions?
John, did you say if SURF serves Montezuma County or like Southwest Colorado? What is their region?
It's La Plata and Montezuma, and I believe Dolores.
Have a chance to speak with a representative from the Arts Committee, or is it just a guess that they weren't able to use the funds yet?
Oh, they could use it. They could always spend it. But I think before they spend any more money, there needs to be a discussion with council on parameters set for them. There's only, that I'm aware of, one other committee that gets a budget. And this one is the largest budget, but there was no direction or parameters set for them on how that money was spent. And last year, I have some issues with how that money was spent, which I've brought up to them. But you know, it's a discussion that I need to have with the council.
Is there an opportunity for somebody from the Arts Committee to be present so they could say?
I can hardly hear you. I'm sorry.
Is that better? Can you
Yes,
hear?
better.
All right, sorry about that. Is there an opportunity before, you know, we throw that $10,000 from that fund that somebody could become available to speak in front of the council in regards to gifting or transferring the $10,000?
From the Arts Committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can have them here. They're not going to like it, I'll guarantee you that. But everybody's suffered, so the only way we're going to do this is if they take the money from them.
I can understand that. I just want to make sure that everybody has a fair opportunity to speak about this.
Is there a timeline that SURF is needing these funds by or requesting these funds by?
I don't really know. I do know that the request came in about 10 to 12 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we just told them, well, you're just going to have to wait until council meets because I can't make this decision.
And this is just this year. The $10,000 will be there next year for the Public Arts Committee.
No guarantees.
Okay.
That will have to be budget discussions with the council. And you guys set priorities wherever you want, and we'll work with them.
You said you wasn't happy with the way they'd spent the last money. Can you enlighten us on that?
The one thing that comes to mind was they spent money either to repair a horn or to buy a horn for a band member who didn't have the money to buy it. And then the last meeting we had, I asked where that horn is because it now belongs to the city if they paid for it, and nobody knew. And there was things bought for the display that was put in downtown. That is, I believe they said, at the share house. But there again, that's city's money and it doesn't belong at the share house. So part of it is educating them that when you're spending public money, it has to be in the public's property. You can't just give it away.
Right, thank you.
I might add that there is a huge need for funding in these areas, and this $10,000 would be matched by another 10,000 from the foundation, I understand. So I think it'd be a welcome addition to our contributions.
I will add that I talked to Heather in Mancus. The Mancus board said no to the request. Their response was that they take care of, they give money to the food banks and things and take care of people in Mancus. So they felt it was more important to just give it directly to the people they're serving there rather than to service the whole county.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move that we contribute the $10,000 to secure matching funds from SURF, with the funds to be taken from the Public Arts Committee 2020 budget.
Second.
Rainey,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Huckins,
Aye.
Rossi,
Aye.
Betts,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a draft resolution or ordinance, which there are none. Other items of business, there are none. And are there any additional citizen participation? I don't see any hands. Okay. I assume there are no other items of citizen participation. Next item is the city attorney's report, which there is none. City manager's report.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Couple things. I believe I told you that in a weekly report that the Hertz was going to be pulling out of the airport. Found out today they've changed their mind even after they took out the equipment, moved the cars to Durango, everything else. They've now decided they're not going to move out and they're going to stay, which is great.
Wait, who? Can you
Hertz, Hertz Rental.
Hertz. Okay.
Let's see, what else was there? Mike talked with the DA. He has received the case from CBI. They will be taking this, the prosecution will take place in May or June, and the perpetrator will not be arrested. And this is not anything that has to do with the city. This is the decisions of the prosecutor. And then the last thing I have was more bad news. We had this week, Ride the Rockies has canceled, and that's where the $5,000 was coming from the marketing, because since they're not coming, he has that available. And the other thing we got noticed this week was the Celtic Fest has also been canceled. So there aren't going to be a whole lot of big fests, and I think probably in the next meeting or two, we should be talking about whether we will be having fireworks on July 4th. I think there's going to have to be some planning as the three retaining city council members. We haven't seen Keenan come in and ask for the money, so I'm not sure if he's even thinking that's going to happen anyway. You know, that's a decision that's going to have to be made by the council, and we will be putting it on your agenda fairly soon to discuss it. I think it may be too late to get fireworks if we tried to, but you know, it hasn't been canceled. It's just there are no large congregation, so I can't imagine that fireworks are going to be something that's going to be allowed by the state or the health department. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Are there any city council committee reports? Anybody council
I just want to
meetings?
say, yeah, this is Arlie. I just want to say welcome the new members, and thanks for the ones that are outgoing. We appreciate it working with them, and waiting to see what happens in the future. I'm ready.
Thank you. Thank you, Orly. See, under the council committee reports, I attended the Cortez Cultural Center meeting. It was on April 21st, and it was a Zoom meeting. And we just discussed several items. There's been a lot of cancellations, obviously, because of the COVID-19 epidemic. One of the items that I want to bring up was on April 25th, they had a P2P, the Pueblo to Pueblo race, and it was a virtual race. So people were able to log their mileage and participate in that manner. And actually, it was 25% of normal entries. So a quarter of the people who were going to be in that race did enter the virtual race, which is a pretty good response considering extenuating circumstances. There was 20 signups and $1,185 in registration. T-shirts were going for $6 to $8 per shirt. So that did bring in a little income for the cultural center. And another negative item was that the birding festival of May 13th to the 17th was canceled, but they're working on summer field trips and composing a letter asking for donations for tickets purchased. And I got a response from the Cortez cultural people, and they said that 2/3 of the fees were donated to the center. So even though people aren't able to go to the birding fest in person, they donated those fees that they had given to the center. That was good news. And that's all I have for the Cortez Cultural Center. Any other committees?
Oh, well, I had the opportunity to speak on local government issues for the YLTI, which is the Youth Leadership Training Institute. And it featured a couple youth, a student, from SWOS up in Dolores. And it's a nice little youth committee that they have. They're spearheading individual projects right now. And one is addressing a need for a crosswalk going from SWOS over to Maverick, so addressing safety issues. And another youth project is addressing the Dolores Playground. So it's nice to hear about the youth in our community, motivated still under these times. And it was really great to speak to them a little bit about getting and staying motivated in local government.
Thank you, Amy. I attended that Zoom meeting too with you. And I'm really blown away by the interest that the students have for local government. And
Yeah.
I see a lot of people, a lot of students with interest in that. There's a vacancy on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board for a youth member. And when the students expressed interest, and I forwarded his name and contact information to Dean to see if he might be a participant in the advisory board for the Parks and Rec Department. So it's very encouraging to see these young people stepping up. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
Mayor, if I might add something. Councilmember Hutkins brought up the crosswalk from Swoz to Maverick, and I see Lieutenant Brock is on here, and Phil may still be on here, but that's something, one of the students there got together, got the chief involved and Phil, and we are going to be putting a crosswalk there. They took the speed monitor signs up there to, remind people to slow down, that it is a school district, and they have been concentrating on making people slow down, all because Sebastian brought it to our attention. So you're right.
Yeah.
The students are really going to be great.
Incredible youth.
I'm very encouraged. Okay, are there any other committee reports or comments?
Mike, I wanted to just let council know, I'll send out the list of all the committees and we can let them know what's available for each of them so they can choose some committees, and we will have that on the agenda on May 12th.
Thank you very much, Linda.
So we will send that out hopefully by end of week, this week or next week, so everyone can be thinking about what interests them.
Okay, thank you very much. The last item is the mayor's report on the workshop, and we basically covered a financial update with the city manager, John Doherty, and finance director, Ben Burkett. We discussed several items, the COVID-19 financial impact report, and also the March financial report. And all those details are available. It was streamed live, and it will be available to watch online. Are there any other issues before the council tonight? If not, I make a move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.